Welcome, everybody. Weirdos at home. It is a Wednesday night tonight. I'm Tara Brown. Thank you so much for stopping by. This is my wonderful co-host, Sam.
My name is Sam Slade. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I'm very excited about the new dance troupe I joined on behalf of Weirdos at Home. That's why it all goes together with the colors.
Your neon uniform.
It's just called Weird Ghosts with a Z.
Oh my God. Y'all need to work on the name. I'm happy for
I have to say, I love that we get like a super legitimate guest, and you made this happen. It's somebody that is, loved and respected. And I opened for the first time ever with the worst joke about my outfit.
That was the choice. But speaking of our guest, he's here. We're so happy to have him, Nakia. Hello.
Hi.
Guest.
So if this is your first time meeting him, he is a local Austin singer, songwriter, activist, actor, appeared on The
Renaissance
Voice.
Man.
He is Austin's Renaissance
a sci-fi
man.
web show.
Yeah.
You don't even call it a web show anymore.
I checked out the show you're on YouTube this morning. I just did a deep dive, and I had so much fun with it. It's really
cool.
I liked it.
Cool. I'm so glad.
But
thanks for having me.
For joining us. We're so happy to have you.
I'm really happy to be here. It's good to see you again, Tara. Nice to meet you, Sam.
Thank you. Or Slade, either way.
Right, yeah.
Kids are calling me Slade on the internet these days, I hear.
Yeah.
I have to ask, so how long you been in Austin, man?
19 years.
Wow.
It'll be 19 years in August. Yeah.
Wow.
And what brought you here? From
husband Robert lives here, and so when I came here for South by Southwest in 2002, and we met on the first day I was here, and we've been together ever since. So
man, that's cool.
That's great. And Robert's, I hope he's doing good.
Yeah, he's doing great.
So much fun too. I miss that guy. Well, so you've been here almost 20 years. You know Austin in and out. We'll get to it a little later in the show, but we're going to ask you some kind of Austin themed questions. We're actually pretty excited because you are our first guest that would be coming from the musician type category. So we don't even know what to do.
Okay.
Hopefully it's not too corny, but we're happy to have you. I had a question. I saw that you were newly elected to the Texas Board of Governors Grammy Recording Academy.
The Texas chapter, yeah. So the Recording Academy has multiple chapters throughout the country. There's a New York chapter, and there's Los Angeles chapter, and an Atlanta chapter, a Nashville chapter. And Texas is so big that, and the middle of the country is so big, the Texas chapter kind of represents Oklahoma, Mexico, parts of Mexico, and Texas. So there's within that group of voting members, I was elected to be on the what they call the Board of Governors. And so it's basically like a board of directors, but just for this chapter.
Well, congrats. That's amazing.
It's a big deal.
Thank you. This is actually my third term as a governor. I was actually a two-time governor back in 2013, 2014, 2015, somewhere around there. And so it's good to be back. I really love that organization. They've made a lot of really positive, great changes this year, and it's exciting to be a part of all that.
That's awesome. I mean, some people say that Nakia is truly the Joe Biden of the Texas Board of Governors. People didn't think he's coming back, but boy, did he ever.
Yeah.
What I have to ask is, do you have any kind of jurisdiction to make a citizen's arrest on Greg Abbott?
No.
Okay.
No, I don't think I do.
You can't talk. I know. It's fine. It's fine. I'm just going out on a limb here.
Well, you talk about the work they do. So what is that organization about? What do they do locally here?
Yeah, so the organization itself is really just an extension of the main Recording Academy, and the Recording Academy has a few pillars that it kind of dedicates itself to, and everybody knows the awards part of it, right? But there's also advocacy work, which I'm very involved in, where we work to help promote legislation and things that are favorable to musicians and songwriters and music makers. And then there's the charitable arm, which is known as Music Cares. And in that area, we raise money to help musicians. For instance, during the pandemic, Music Cares issued millions and millions of dollars of grants to music makers and songwriters all over the country. And that was all done through Music Cares. And then the education arm, which is super important. We were really committed to making sure that music stays in schools, and that kids have some folks to look up to when it comes to music. And so the Recording Academy will put on events, all day events at schools and things like that. And we can go in and work with kids on songwriting and production or stage performance, any of that sort of stuff. It's really a lot of fun.
That's so cool. I mean, that's so cool. I remember when you used to have music in school, in elementary school in Texas every day when Ann Richards was going. And it was such a treat. I mean, you didn't realize what you had until it was gone.
I know. I don't remember anything about math, English, anything from elementary school, but you remember music class, you remember art class.
Did I not? Hey, one of the first times, Nakia, that we ever hung out, I found a recorder on a shelf and I busted out about 3 songs on a recorder. So, I'm big on this issue. This is important.
He's 35 and he still remembered hot cross buns. So that's important, everybody.
Very important. Yeah.
It's the only way to keep a beat. Hot cross buns.
Yeah.
I learned how to dance that way.
Well, I never knew that, and I'm so glad that you shared that, because that's going to be something that I'll definitely be paying more attention to. Anyone that follows you on social media knows you are very active in the community and very connected to the people in need here, especially in the music industry. And we've seen you working in the past year. I mean, as someone who does music for a living, the past year was not kind, did not create a lot of opportunity for live performances, if anything at all. But you were one of the busiest people I saw this past year. I saw you working with Ham and the Sims Foundation.
Awesome.
What have you been up to? What have you been doing?
Yeah, I definitely, did my best to help as much as I could. And I'm a big fan of both Ham and Sims. And so anytime I can help support them, I do. But I'm also the co-founder and president of an organization called Austin, Texas Musicians, which is a 501c4 nonprofit that focuses on advocating for Austin musicians, specifically at City Hall, making sure that our voice is being heard and that we're being represented fairly. And it's that took up the majority of my 2020, and it was a lot of time and effort and quite honestly just a lot of hard work, and a lot of stress, but it was really, really beneficial to a lot of people, and that's all that matters. It had to get done. These things needed to get done, and I was very, very grateful that the folks that I work with at ATXM and some of our other sister organizations in town that are music nonprofits were able to get so many great things accomplished during the pandemic, for musicians and music venues in town.
It was just such a difficult time. It was just so brutally difficult to try to do anything when it comes to live music when you can't just be anywhere near another human that you're not basically living with. Right?
Yeah.
It really was such a blow, and so many great venues took it on the chin and just got knocked out through no fault of their own. And we can get into the names and do that, but what I want to ask you, Nakia, is what do you think the hardest thing as Austin Live Music comes back, what do you think the hardest thing to kind of recapture will be?
I've been out to a few things in public already, and nothing super huge, but I think there's not really there's not anything that'll be difficult to recreate, because live music is just so magical and so primal to us as humans, as mammals, we just immediately, kind of gravitate, especially towards, this, what I would say, the kind of vibe, dancier music and things. And so I think that as long as there's musicians who are able to get up and play music for folks, that magic will remain, and as long as fans are able to get out and see shows, that magic will remain. What I think is really more interesting is that, we've got, now that the lights are all coming back on, so many people are rushing to get back out into live music as fans seeing live shows, bands playing their shows. But if those fans weren't coming back, those bands would be playing to nobody. And so it's what I hope happens is that the people who don't make music and don't make a living off of music have a greater appreciation for the musicians that are out there playing, especially when you see musicians, playing in the heat, without shade, there's so many things that go wrong at any given, show, any given venue, any given festival, whatever. And, just have a little bit more appreciation. I think people, have for years taken it for granted, and it's the same way that we take it for granted, like that the food at, your favorite restaurant is always going to be great, right? And you go back there and you take your friends there or whatever, but lo and behold, one day your restaurant may not be there if more people don't go, right? So it's the same thing. If people aren't going out to shows and aren't supporting the bands by buying merch and helping to pay full cover to get in to see these bands.
No, but you're exactly right, Nakia. I know we about a week ago went to Blues at Guero's that Sun Radio puts on Wednesday nights. And man, I mean, people could not have looked more just absolutely fucking excited to be watching.
Me included.
3 guitars, a drum set, and some dudes just playing just Texas, Austin rock. I mean, it could have been anything. The fact that we're at a place now where everybody can get together again. And like Nakia was saying, it's a primal thing. You walk by, you end up dancing. You can't control it. And
to not take that for granted. There's somebody putting that out there for you.
Right. And these were kids playing for probably only just what did they say? The press of being on Sun Radio. And I think they gave them like something in a gift card or something, like to eat at some steakhouse or something, like radio promotion stuff. Yeah. I'm just saying, like, they weren't playing. It wasn't Madison Square Garden. These kids are doing it because they love it.
Well, what I remember that night was on stage, a couple of the members, because I think it was also a fundraiser. I think there was some fundraising going on, but a couple of the members said that they were able to receive full health care throughout the last year.
It was through HAM. Yeah,
that's great.
Everyone just
really great
erupted over that.
Absolutely.
So you're right. I mean, people need to get out there and go to these shows that y'all work so hard to put on, and this is it for you.
Well, it's not like, the only thing keeping us from it was a plague. It's not like we're gonna have to twist a bunch of arms to get people back to great music. Like Nakia was talking about, like people will get out there.
It's just a matter of reminding people that they have to pay for it. And that's part of the problem in Austin, is that everywhere you go, you can walk in and have free music. And if you lived anywhere else, and almost anywhere else in the country, you can't just go in places without paying a cover charge.
That's right.
And
the 2 worst cities, Nakia, Chicago and New Orleans. You can't hear any music without paying a cover charge. Like, forget it.
You gotta pay. And so that's how the crazy thing is musicians in Austin would be really bad off without HAM. And HAM helps provide this amazing access to full coverage insurance for all of the musicians and their families. And it's crazy that a big part of why that's necessary is because it's been the same. The musicians have been making the same money in Austin basically since the 70s. The money's never really went up. you know. And so, and that's because they're not charging enough at the door to really raise the money, right? So it's definitely something that we all need to be thinking about and be mindful of as we're going back out in the world. And if you see a band out there that does have a tip jar, you know, put a little extra dough in there.
I mean, absolutely. I mean, I'll tell you this. My middle brother is an amazing drummer. My stepdad is an amazing guitar player. You've seen my stepdad just wail around the house. And the thing is even as great as they were, whatever heyday, Austin, there wasn't enough paying gigs in Austin to do anything. You know, you had to take the job with the tech firm or the you know, whatever, just because we all took it for granted, Nakia, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Well, one of the things I guess that people know you if they follow you on social media for is you were on The Voice. And
Correct.
Celebrated, is it 10 years?
Or 10 seasons.
10 years,
10
I
years?
think.
10 years, 20 seasons.
Yeah, they do like several.
We do 2 seasons a year on The Voice. So
Are you excited about the addition of Ariana Grande to the judging panel?
Yeah, I think she's going to be a great coach. And, you know, I would put her in that same boat as Christina. You know, I mean, she has been singing since she was a very young girl, and she's got all the training and all of the pipes and can really hit a lot of great notes, has an amazing range. So anybody who ends up on her team is going to get access, you know, to someone who is so talented vocally that it's hard to even imagine. And, you know, if she really puts the time in and really cares for her team, then they could walk away with a lot of really strong experience that could really help them, you know.
I'm excited. I mean, not like, I think you kind of came around to Ariana Grande when I showed you some of the more like technical, like theater singing.
Probably.
Yeah.
I'm a big song and dance fan.
Yeah. Because I think you had, you know, heard her on the radio and you're like,
Sure.
It's just, you know, another pop star. But I was like, no, she's got it.
Again,
Yeah.
I was never an anti-Grande hardliner. I want to make that clear. That was never my position. I don't know why I'm playing that part just anyway. It's fine. I'm excited she's on the Voice now too.
But so when you were on Team CeeLo, correct?
Correct.
So how did you hear about it? I mean, this was the first season,
right.
So it wasn't like an established show.
Right.
What was the journey?
They have a casting agency that you know, for the first season especially, their job was to really just go through YouTube and personal connections and find people. And they just found me on YouTube, and they showed my videos to the producers, and the producers actually took one of my videos and 3 other videos into the pitch meeting with NBC and said, we want to pitch this show. And I ended up on the show.
So basically you were one of the artists from YouTube that helped get the show green lit.
I only know that because Mark Burnett's assistant told me at the rap party. You know, like, I don't even know if he was supposed to tell me that, but I just
that's amazing, man. That's,
you know,
it's
so crazy that it happened that way. And so I think about that a lot, you know, that it was kind of meant to be from the get-go.
I mean, so
I was about to say, like, the assistant must have been like, we have a hit. I don't care. I'm going to tell you the real thing.
Well, I don't think it was even the assistant who was like that. They didn't see it until Mark saw it. I think it was, you know, that they were just nice to me because I had been eliminated the week before at the, you know, the rap party. And I was there at the rap party anyway. They brought like the top 16 back. And I just remember them coming over to me and telling me how devastated their whole team was that I had been eliminated, because they had been rooting for me from the beginning. And I was like, oh, thanks. And they were like, I mean, like the beginning, like before you even were on the show.
Like from
So
we
it
have
made
an
a lot of
idea.
sense.
Well, so I mean, reality TV is just so like, to the viewer, you have no idea like how many hours it takes for people working on that show, like how long the days really are, because you just see, an hour or two at a time. From when you got there to when you came back home, how long was that in reality?
I left the first week in February, and aside from the 4 weeks between when we finished the battle rounds and when we went back for the live rounds, I was there until the last week of July, and then I came home for 2 weeks, and then I went back for 4 more weeks to go on tour with the top 8. And yeah, so
it was like a year, almost a year's worth commitment.
That's crazy. I mean, it basically was, because there was because it started in, I got the email inviting me to meet with the producers in December of 2010. No, yeah, December of 2010, and then I left in the first week of February of 2011.
Well, hey, Nakia, I just want to say thank you for your service, sir, and your deployment.
Yeah,
for real.
Man, and they don't really give you, the viewer, much, I guess, time frame on how much time you actually spend with your coach. And this was the first year, so I mean, there was no blueprint about how much time we're going to spend here and what we're going to be doing here. I mean, CeeLo and yours relationship is very genuine. It came across like he really got to know you, and vice versa.
Cool.
Yeah, we definitely immediately hit it off. He's a really super sweet guy. We're the same age. We're both from the Southeast. He's from Atlanta. I'm from Alabama. And we had a lot of stuff in common, and he really, I think, saw a lot of himself in me, and so he did his best right up until the end to keep me around. And then afterwards, we have definitely spent some time together and been on stage together a few times since then. So he's always been super nice to me.
That's awesome. That's just crazy. He's one of the most fun shows I've ever seen at ACL Fest or ACL Festival. Was CeeLo did a weird science, and you're like, you got to be kidding me. It was insane. But I have to ask you, if I can, and don't worry, nobody watches the show. You said he did his best till the very end.
Oh, right, yeah. Well, because he had the ability to give me more of his points to keep me on, but at the last minute, he thought he would be more fair if he gave, almost all of them to me, and then a chunk of them to Vicky, and America's vote plus that put her over the top.
Basically, you were a huge warning story, because you were basically the Hillary Clinton of The Voice while Vicky was Donald Trump.
Okay.
CeeLo was the head of the FBI, kind of pushing his finger on the scale. We should have been paying attention.
If that's the scale you need to see it through.
Hey, lock Vicky up. Lock Vicky up.
Lock Vicky up.
I don't even know. Come on. I'm sorry. I got carried away.
Teammate, y'all probably spent a lot of time together.
Oh,
everyone on the show.
Like it was all
were y'all just living in a hotel, kind of like a dormitory style?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I mean, so the meals were do you get to go to a cafeteria and eat like basketball camp, or do you get to go, they bring them?
No, it depended on the time, but I mean, they took care of us very, very well. Yeah.
Awesome.
It's good to know.
Well,
good to know.
What are you pointing at?
Uh,
Oh, this is what Sam really wants to hear all the details about. I was going through and I saw that you interviewed with Kevin Smith at some point, and he's a huge Kevin Smith.
Yeah, so right after The Voice, I went to see Kevin Smith live, and we had a couple of mutual friends at the time anyway, and so I went backstage afterwards and introduced my friends to him, and met him, and then while I was there, he's like, "Oh my God, my daughter and my wife have been watching the show. They would really love to meet you. Would you come be on our podcast?" And I said, "Sure, I'm going to be here for another week." And he basically gave me his home address, and I drove to their house and I did the podcast.
Oh man.
And then we've been friends ever since. He's super nice. He was just in town for movies.
Mhm.
that's right.
And I missed him that day, but we texted with each other, and I sent him some photos of us at movies, and he's just super sweet and really nice guy.
It's so cool. Well, we're going to see him in the fall.
At Paramount.
Yeah.
I think in November. We've got tickets because we're big Kevin Smith fans.
Oh, cool.
I never listened to any of the dozen podcasts that he does.
Yeah.
When we started dating and we had all this time on our hands, we listened to a lot of it. And I always enjoyed his movies. I knew who he was. I knew he was into Star Wars, and so am I. So I was like, he's a good guy.
Yeah.
But after listening to him just kind of talk about himself and talk about, why he created the things that he created and what's important to him, I was like, we are like soul connected. Like on our after Christmas a couple years ago.
2 years ago.
We're driving home from Dallas from my mom's house, and we were listening to his recap of like the final Star Wars movie. Was it
Rise of
Batman on
Skywalker.
Batman?
It was
That
it was
podcast?
him and Mark Bernard.
Yeah.
No, it was him and Ralph.
I almost had to pull over because
I had to
the
drive.
emotional way he was describing like the last time he would see Princess Leia and like how
God.
important that character was, and I was just like bawling. And I
We
was
had
like,
to
"He's
pull
a
over
good
so I
thing."
could drive, Nakia. That's the level. That's the level we're at. That's so cool, man. That's such a great story.
But it's so awesome to hear that he's just as like genuine and cool in person.
Right.
Yeah, I
It
hope
really is.
there's a Q&A when we go, so I'm definitely going to try to get in that line to actually speak and ask
We'll be
him a
asking him
question.
some questions, that's for sure.
But speaking of people, he's coming to Austin. We all live in Austin. You've been here a while. You've performed everywhere.
Wait, this is something special. We do this for all of our guests.
Yeah. Well, no, this is a
Oh, it's
catered to
before us?
him because we've never done it from
We
Austin.
haven't done it for Austin.
We
yet.
do it a lot for sure.
Okay.
It's called the Nakia Austin Game.
Okay. Let's do it.
Go ahead, sir.
So you played a lot of venues all around Austin, Central Texas area. What venue do you miss the most that's no longer with us?
Oh, as a venue, ooh, that's tough. God, I mean, I mourn them all, but I guess for me, Threadgills was the hardest hit for me because they're like my family and mine and Robert's family, so that was probably the hardest.
Nakia, that is correct. We have it. I don't want to. I will knock a bunch of stuff down, but it's literally written right here. Threadgills. That's the correct answer.
All right, cool.
That is for you. I mean, these are custom made. So who? what do
And
we have
on
next?
the venue topic, what was the first venue you played here in Austin?
Oh, good.
The first venue I played in Austin is a place called Graffiti's Lounge that used to be off of Howard Lane.
Oh,
Man, yes, I remember.
Yeah. That was the first place I've ever played here that it was an open mic.
that's so awesome.
Wow, that's
That's
crazy. Well, you've gotten
Question
into-
number 2.
Question number 2. We've mentioned your the web show that you're on. What is that about? Plug that, and we have a
Demon
question about it.
So I'm on a couple of shows. The one you're talking about is Demon Doctor, which is the one of the newer shows from Sidekick Productions, based in New York. Um, and so I play Giacomo Moretti on that show, who is a medical examiner in New York City, and who also happens to be an incubus. And it's a very it's kind of like Buffy and the X-Files, but a lot gayer.
Yeah.
Um, and a little bit more campy. But so I'm on that show, and then I'm also on another show that Sidekick Productions does called Skeleton Crew. And Skeleton Crew has been around for about 5 years, and they have put out 4 seasons, and we just are wrapped with season 5 of Skeleton Crew, and we're getting ready to premiere that very, very soon. And that will include a musical episode that I co-wrote, very much in the spirit of Buffy the Vampire Slayer. And I do all the music for those 2 shows, the theme songs, the background music, original music, whatever it needs. And then I also do the sound design for those shows too.
It's
Everything. Campy was exactly how I was going to describe it. That's why I got kind of in a wormhole, because the episodes are short, they're easy to just fly through, and it's just so much fun. Just fun.
It is a lot of fun, and season 2 is almost finished shooting, and Josh just launched his Patreon. It's patreon.com/sidekick productions. And it's super fun. Everybody up there is just has a big piece of my heart. I'm so proud to be a part of it.
How often do you have the opportunity to go to New York and actually work in person?
I just got back from my 3rd trip this year, and I'll take one more in 3 weeks.
Nice.
Yeah.
My favorite city.
That's a question too.
Yeah, I know you're really wanting us to ask the questions. He's like, there's questions.
Okay.
It's a custom game for it.
I'm over here just like shooting the shit. Let's talk. So when you're acting, do you enjoy playing a hero, or do you enjoy playing a villain?
No.
Or would you rather? Sorry.
Please.
Would I rather play a hero or a villain?
But like a great one, Nakia. Not just, we're not talking CW stuff.
I mean, it just really depends on the character. I'll play whoever. But I think
here's the follow-up: ideal hero and ideal villain to play
from existing franchises.
Yeah.
I mean, for villain, I would probably say somebody like Doc Ock, or maybe somebody like, I don't know. That's the first person that comes to mind. And then for hero, I would have to say, like kind of like Indiana Jones, or something like that. I always thought that to me that's because there's all these character flaws and stuff, and so I like that style. Like I really like the game Uncharted, because that character is very much like kind of Indiana Jones to me. So and I believe Master whatever his name is. Oh, I can see it in my face, but I can't read it out loud. He plays Spider-Man now.
Tom Holland.
Tom Holland is going to play the Nathan, the guy from Uncharted.
Wow.
We're getting an Uncharted.
So this is the biggest Tom Holland fan this side of the pond. I mean, he's bigger fan than the Marvel people, but I know you're not going to believe this, Nakia, but we literally had written down Doc Ock and Indiana Jones.
Crazy. Did you, over the past couple of years, did you and Robert get into like the Marvel universe and the Marvel shows?
Yeah, we watch all the shows and all the movies, and in fact, we're just about to start Loki now, shortly.
Literally, as soon as we
Yeah.
get off, we're gonna start Loki.
So
I talk really fast. Did y'all do Snyderverse, the 4-hour art film?
do we do what? Do we do what?
The Snyderverse cut.
Oh, we did watch it. Yeah.
Yeah.
We had seen both now. We've seen both now, and we both prefer the Snyder cut.
Absolutely. I know that just that whole story of what happened really radicalized Tara when it came to artistic integrity. Not that she's the biggest DC fan, but literally turned to me being like, if they did to me what they did to Zack Snyder.
I just can't believe he just was. It must have been such a shock. I'm not going to get into it again.
It's already out there. There's a black and white version you can watch on HBO Max. Get out of here.
If you have the time.
Okay, question number 3.
Best memory on like good old 6th Street.
I mean, it's got to be, for me, it's West 6th Street. It's got to be Momo's.
And, yeah.
That's, I think, the first night I saw you ever live was Momo's.
Yeah, I think I have a photo of us from that.
Like, that's where it was.
What's so funny is I was probably downstairs up to my elbows in corned beef at the same time.
Man,
I miss all those things. I miss everything used to go on that block before it was some weird champagne bar or whatever dystopian place it is now.
Rooftop pool now, I think.
Okay, question number 4. We're gonna knock these out strong. Go ahead.
Oh, we got Loki's to get to.
Yeah, we got Loki's to get to. Everybody's got Loki's in plural now.
Classic Beatles or Elvis?
Elvis.
That is correct. I'll go get the painting from the bathroom.
And then this is a very difficult question for a lot of people. You may have an answer right away. Best album ever?
Purple Rain.
Purple Rain. See? Straight cut to the chase.
I told you he would go 5 for 5.
That's a miracle. We had Purple Rain written down right over. Well, this has been so much fun. Now that things are opening back up, we're kind of getting back to this normal scene. What are your plans? Are you getting back out there and doing live shows?
I'm going to play one show with my band. The only show I'm going to play in Austin this year. It's at the Long Center. It's part of their new series called The Drop-In, presented by Austin City Limits Radio, and the tickets are all free. And you get them by watching the Long Center social media, which is basically at Long Center anywhere online. And every Friday they announce the next week's performer and put the RSVP link up for you to get tickets, or you can become a subscriber at Long Center and get the tickets in advance and choose whatever you want. So but if you just want to come and bring the family, it's open to anybody.
We're definitely going to share all this as we get closer to it. I mean, that's awesome. That's
when does that take place?
I'm not allowed to say the date because it's a surprise every Friday.
Okay.
We get it. Your secret's safe.
Hey, Nakia, thanks so much for coming on, man.
Yeah. I'm so happy to come on. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, you're our first musician. You just brought something totally different to the show that we normally get to talk about. And you're from Austin, and it's always just great after we've been so separated. Right. It's great to talk to somebody local.
Missing
Austin. Yeah. Gets it. Misses the same things we do.
Yeah. Well, it's good to see you again, and nice to meet you, Sam. And thanks again, and congratulations on all the fun you're having doing Weirdos at Home.
Well, thank you so much,
Nakia. Thanks for stopping by.
Thank you, everyone, for stopping by. And we will see you guys soon. Nakia, hopefully we'll see you soon. And everyone,
I hope so.
Bye.
All right, later, Tater.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.